What's up? What's up? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Schneid. The season's over officially, so we can start drafting officially, I guess, like we haven't been already. Yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. Sorry, I think some weirdness is going on with the stream here. What the heck is going on here? There we go. There we go. Okay. Should have it all fixed. All right. We're going to jump right into drafting. Like I said, we're not going to talk too much. The Super Bowl happened. It was good. I suppose it was a bit of a rough game. I thought that they were going to make a move at the end. They were down 2 scores, and then, 2 out of 4 plays, something like that. Drake May just decided to, go for glory and win the game with 1 play. And obviously it didn't work out. So Stephen Hines in the chat. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Yeah, mom and the boy are doing very, very well. Legion of Dune 2.0 shut down the pass. Can they repeat? I mean, they can. They got a lot of core pieces there. They do have some guys on that are unrestricted free agents. Kenny Walker's obviously gonna, command a bit of a bag and deserves it. Couple other guys like role players that are free agents as well, but yeah, they definitely can. Mike McDonald is a phenomenal coach, phenomenal defensive coach, phenomenal leader, all that kind of stuff. So they definitely can, with another offseason, maybe improve that offensive line even more, get some more weapons. Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp are both free agents as well. So yeah, get some more weapons in there. They absolutely, with that defense and Mike McDonald, they can absolutely repeat. But we'll see what happens. We got Frog Clone in here. First time I've seen you, so appreciate you popping in, man. Appreciate you coming. Mr. Mufasa, what's up, man? GM, appreciate you guys. So let's just get right into it, kind of thing. I don't really want to, there's not too much to talk about realistically, and I want to just get some drafts in, get some reps in. Let's check the bigger board. Let's do that just for kind of shits and gigs. I've done one so far, so I'm definitely going to max this, obviously. So let's see if we'll be able to fill it. Let's see where it's at. So waiting on 7. Let's stay in 1, and we're going to jump into a big board. So we're waiting on 7. If you want to do a bigger board, we'll rip one on stream if it works out. But we'll do a big board right now. Waiting on 6. So maybe someone in the chat jumped in. Appreciate that. And then let's jump into a big board while we wait. 20-second clock. Obviously, jump in if you want to jump in. Waiting on 4. So a couple spots open. And then we'll have to obviously keep an eye on that bigger board. So I might just pull that up on my phone so I don't have to flip back and forth and kind of ruin the stream. Number 5, that is awesome. How rare that is. How rare that is for an Off the Schneid stream to get a top 5 pick. Still waiting on 6 for the bigger board. So we'll see if we can fill that, and we'll kind of take it from there. Davis Maddock at the 1. Highly doubt he's watching this show, which is fine. P-Punch in the 6th spot. That might be it. That might be it. That's kind of fun. Yeah, P-Punch in the 6th. So sniping each other all night. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. And maybe we'll get a little bit of EV. That'll be good. And then, yeah, 6, waiting on 6, 6 of 12, halfway there for a bigger board. And we'll see if we could fill that and do one live on stream, just because. Why not? So I don't even know what to do if I'm in the top 5. That's crazy. I haven't had a top 5 pick in God knows how long. And I've only had like 1 or 2 of them, period. So that's kind of fun. We got Best Ball on call. Anthony in the house. Davis either auto or watching. Was in PPR Tyler draft too. Wow. That'd be cool if he's watching. Shout out. Let's go JSN. I just need to get some of these top 5 picks. I have like no exposure to these top 5 picks because I've been 7 or later essentially in these drafts. So let's get a JSN share. Man, the queue takes so long these days. It's so strange. It's so strange. Let's pull that up. Bijan Gibbs. That's how I would have it. Bijan Gibbs. I mean, it's hard to realistically chase Nakua. You can't really lose. I'm being a Bengals fan, gun to my head, give me Chase, but it's fine. Puka Nakua is fantastic as well. Yeah, JSN, I agree with there. I was JT to start like out the gates, and he's gotten there. That's fine. I think CeeDee Lamb is still a fantastic click. I really do. I still find it really hard to believe that they're going to be able to bring back George Pickens. I really find that hard to believe. I really do, but we'll see. We will see. They said they're gonna tag him, probably a tag and trade. I just don't see the funds. I don't see the ability unless Jerry Jones is going to cut multiple $1 million checks, or they get rid of Kenny Clark and just literally cut him, release him. As far as I know, they can't trade him without losing draft capital. So yeah, I just have a hard time seeing them being able to afford the George Pickens, even the franchise tag. We got Chaito. What's up, man? I don't even know if that's how you say your name there, but it's just, I don't know how else we would say it. We got 8 of 12 in the bigger board. So maybe we will fill and we'll have to jump over there. And I'll have to do this big board from my phone while doing the bigger board, which is a little more lucrative. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully it's perfect timing and it fills right when this draft is over. Going with the olds, we got CMC, Derrick Henry. That's a way to start a draft. Jeremiah Love goes. That would have been the insta click. I feel like I should get some Barkley, but man, they might lose 2 offensive line min. I'm going to go Brock Bowers here. In a Kubiak system, give me the running backs and give me the tight ends. Same thing I said last year about the Seahawks. So give me Brock Bowers. Barkley's, it's just interesting with Barkley. If they lose both Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson, I don't know. That's going to be tough to. And they lost Stoutland, I believe is his name, right? The offensive line coach. That's going to be tough to replace that, all of that, and the offensive coordinator. Mind you, was definitely going to happen anyways, the offensive coordinator situation, but that's all right. Trace Brown, yep, absolutely. If you're sitting there 5 picks back past ADP, you betcha. I like Bucky a lot, but it makes too much sense to just take Chase Brown here. So easy click. 9 of 12 on the bigger board. Hopefully it kind of slows down if I'm being honest, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it was an interesting Super Bowl. Obviously, it was a bit of a snooze fest. Patriots just couldn't get anything going. And then again, at the end of the game there, Drake May just trying to win the game with one play multiple times. That couldn't have been like the read. You know what I mean? It just couldn't have been the read on that play, the first read on that play. So I don't know. It was a weird one. The whole season kind of felt weird that last year, if I'm being honest. Obviously, like Bengals, Chiefs, Ravens, all that kind of situation. It just felt like a weird year. And I think I think was it Mike Tirico? I saw someone on Twitter posted it that he said during the Super Bowl, it was just like a culmination of the season kind of thing in the Super Bowl. And I agree with that. It was just an odd year, odd Super Bowl pairing, odd game in the Super Bowl. I don't know. It was a weird one. It was definitely a weird one. Who Hames, what's up, man? Appreciate you popping by. I think you were live today with Bindles, weren't you? I didn't. I think I saw it pop up, but I didn't get a chance to check it out. But shout out Bindles. I think he's live tonight with the Fantasy Football Garage. So shout out Fantasy Football Garage, the Candyman over there. I think they're going live on their Dynasty show tonight. So I'm sure it'll be a good watch after this fine program. I hate this running back range, so kind of regardless, I'm not going running back here. And it's just a fantastic wide receiver range. So Garrett Wilson's such an odd one. I just have a hard time. I liked Garrett Wilson at first, but then now I'm sitting here thinking, who the fuck is going to play quarterback for the Jets this year? Who's going to be their quarterback? And who's going to be good for Garrett Wilson? It's definitely Jameson. That's fun. That's who I wanted. I was hoping Jameson Williams would be there. That's an easy click. Let's do that. Bo Nix injury ruined the Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree with that. I was in playoff best ball. I was heavily invested in the Broncos. Quite heavily invested in the Broncos, and didn't really work out. Though I got 11th in the mitten, tied with a bunch of people by 0.1 of a point. We missed out on I don't know, 5th place or whatever it would have been, like $5,000 more dollars. So that's kind of kicking the nuts, but that's all right. We got a little bit of a bankroll to work with before the or throughout the big board season, I suppose. So that's nice. That's right. Take the running backs and tight ends in Las Vegas. Genty Bowers start all day. Yeah, that's a funny thing to say. Funny thing to say. Last year I was heavily out on Genty Bowers, and especially a Genty Bowers start. But here we are. I would actually probably do that, start Genty Bowers, though I honestly don't think I ever would do that, but it's feasible. I'll say that. It's definitely a feasible start. If I like anyone in this running back range, I actually like RJ Harvey. Does that mean he's the click here? Still probably not. I like Igbuka for sure. I think Jalen Waddle's a smash right here. He's wide receiver 1 on this team now. Again, who's the quarterback? Is it Tua? Is it Quinn Ewers? I don't know. Bobby Slowick, I don't love, but I really do believe in the talent of Jalen Waddle. So let's go that route. I think he's a steal in the 5th round. Yeah, still got your money back and then some, I assume. On playoff best ball, yeah, I lost money last year. I'll admit. Some people maybe won't admit, but I lost money last year. It was actually one of my worst years. And I've got a lot of things right, I feel like. So that's a real kick in the nuts to get a lot of things right and then lose money. That doesn't feel good, but that's best ball, baby. So yeah, I did in playoff best ball, yes, but all it does is give me a bankroll for the big board season. I got 9th in one of the drafter things. The Mondre touchdown cost me quite a bit. The Mondre touchdown helped me quite a bit. So again, that's best ball, baby. Glad you can sense my sarcasm. I couldn't, but there we go. What's up, young Moolah, Gab for life with the Super Bowl win? What's changing the rooms now? I mean, Kenny Walker is going to continue to move up, and he kind of has in this draft. He went 26th. I'm not going to be taking him if he's rising like that. I like Kenny Walker. I think he's a fine click for sure. But if he's going to rise to pick 26, I'm going to be out on that. Like, give me Chase Brown, give me Breece Hall, give me Bucky Irving for sure. And how you taking him over Kyron Williams? Like, realistically, I think he's going to get to a price that starts to not make sense. But we'll see kind of how that goes and how that works out. I guess it's Parker Washington. I mean, I could go Caleb, but I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I like my guy, Parker Washington. So that, I guess I could see Sam Darnold moving up a little bit. Drake May is going to continue to fall, which he did in this draft, I think a little bit, right? Oh, maybe not. He should. Well, no, he did, I guess. ADP is still at 46. Wow. I thought it was in the 50s. It will be there in no time. And I think he'll just come back to the kind of pack down here, but we'll see how that goes. It'll be Jalen Warren here if he's still there. If he's not, I'm not going to take Bayshall with Parker Washington here. I'm not going to do that. Other than that, I don't think a crazy amount will change realistically. but we'll see. Emo Cowboys in the house. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, baby? Appreciate you popping in. We're gonna do Jaylen Warren here for sure. It would have been Pearsall if Jaylen Warren was gone. So let's do Jaylen Warren, though I really like these the QBs in this range. I really like them, but I'm going to push it. I don't like to fall behind at either running back or quarterback. So let's take the lesser of two evils, I suppose. That's what I meant for playoff. Yeah, it definitely broke even on the playoffs, the playoff best ball, but I lost money overall. I'll admit that. We're 10 out of 12 on a bigger board. So if you want to do a $100 draft on stream, we're waiting on 2. I kind of hope that this draft finishes right when that fills. That would be fun. And then we can just transition nice and easy. But if it fills, we'll move over to the bigger board. And then I'll be drafting this on my phone kind of thing. And we could take a look at it back when, if that goes down. But just to let everyone know, we have a bigger board on tap. We're in one, waiting on 2. So if you're going to join, wait until I say there's 11, essentially, if you really want to get in. I was kind of hoping Trevor Lawrence might fall. The Josh Allen drafter takes him. That's interesting. He does have Brian Thomas, I get. Probably done at 2 quarterbacks, I'd imagine. Mahomes goes as well. That kind of hurts. I mean, Dak's still in this range. Pearsall's nice because Purdy's sitting there. I mean, Stafford's there. I mean, I still have a Jared Goff out, Mendoza. Yeah, Darnold. I've still got outs for quarterbacks. So that's another part of the reason why I took Jaylen Warren there. I just really don't like to fall too far behind at running back. It's really tough to catch up. Though those kind of middle round guys are fine. I think Monangai is a very fine click here. Very fine. But I don't know if I'll go that route. Actually, I probably will. Sam Laporta could make some sense if I want to go a double Detroit situation. I could still take Purdy realistically. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not going to be like hardline focused on stacking. I'm really not. But I'm going to go Monangai if he's there. I'll leave Xavier Worthy for Davis Maddock, but I do like Xavier Worthy. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to take Kyle Monangai here. Little half-round discount. I'll take some Monangai. It's not exceptionally likely, but I think it's entirely plausible that DeAndre Swift is not on the Bears next year. I'm not saying that is going to happen. It's just possible and on the table. And now I'm feeling pretty comfortable at running back. That's nice. That's handy. Brock Purdy still on the board. Kyle Pitts is down to where he should kind of be going, but man, to get him at pick 100, that'd be pretty all right. That would be pretty all right. It's pretty much right where Kyle Pitts should be going, I suppose. Brock Purdy's still there. Rondé Gadsden's there. That's fun. Denzel Boston. There's a lot of quality picks right here. Tyler Algier can get fully caught up. Pitts is a good click there. I just can't fall any further behind. And realistically, Jared Goff is just habitually disrespected ADP-wise. He's not sexy. I get it. He doesn't run a lot. I get it. But 300-plus fantasy point average for the last 4 years, like, I can't fall any further behind at QB. Plus, he stacks up with Jameson Williams. That's fun. I just don't like how Goff is just habitually disrespected. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. I've gotten Pitts at 100 a few times now. Yeah, so have I. That's kind of right where I've been clicking him, is right at pick or 100, which is where he went, right around there anyways. 9th round pick, we'll call it, right? I think that's fine. I think that's fine for Pitts. where he was going. What's his ADP at now? Actually, let's take a look at that. 89. So it's continuing to fall, which it should. And then he's kind of not necessarily on an island. He's fallen to the Laporta Gadsden range. I think Gadsden is a good kind of, I'm not going to say comp, but a good range, a good parallel to Kyle Pitts. I think that makes a lot of sense. We'll see where he goes. There's obviously a lot of landing spots, and he could just stay in Atlanta, obviously. But yeah, even a team like, my Bengals would be fun to get a guy like Kyle Pitts. That'd be a good time. The Eagles, Miami, the teams that need tight end. Those are kind of my top of the need category as far as tight end is concerned. And Atlanta's on that as well, but he could just resign in Atlanta, obviously. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, I've definitely clicked him a few times as well at about pick 100. What do we want to do? Do I want to keep hitting running back? How do I feel at wide receiver? I feel really good at wide receiver. Feel good at tight end, obviously. Caught up a little bit at running back. I think I just have to take a tiny discount on Sam Darnold. It's either Darnold or Baker. And I mean, since I have JSN, let's just lean into that. I think it makes tons of sense. I don't know why I wouldn't, that's kind of what that's exactly what I've been saying about this whole stacking thing and how I'm not avoiding it. It just, if it happens, it happens. And it's just fallen into my lap with Goff and Darnold. I picked Njigba because he's the click. I picked Jameson Williams because he's the click. I picked Goff because he's the click. You could definitely argue Baker Mayfield over Darnold. We could absolutely have that conversation. And in a vacuum, I'd probably say Mayfield over Darnold. But, it stacks with JSN. I think if it makes sense, it makes sense. And just do it. Nike swoosh, you know what I'm saying? One sneeze, over under 1.5 sneezes. I think it's Fernando, unless I want to go Emmett Johnson. I kind of want to go Emmett Johnson. Let's do that. Let's do Emmett Johnson. Kind of one of my guys. I don't want to, yeah. It's more important to get Emmett Johnson on this build than it is another quarterback, I feel like. Fernando would be great there, but it's not entirely necessary. I think it's more important to fill up my running back room. When how often does Mendoza even crack my lineup with Darnold and Goff? Yes, he pairs with Bowers. Obviously, I understand that, but it's just not imperative. I don't feel like. And there goes Mendoza. That would have been cool if he fell back to 140. I was most certainly not expecting it, but I was hopeful, I'm not gonna lie. 3 straight tight ends here. That's interesting. Hunter Henry, Diggs with May and Stevenson and Henderson. Wow. Talking about understacking over here. This guy's overstacking. That's all right. Do your thing, man. You do you, dog. Still waiting on 2 in the bigger board again, which is perfectly fine. I'd love for it to just wait and hang out until this draft is done. And then we can fill that sucker. You see the ticker down below. We are about 650 roughly subscribers. So 350 away from 1,000. It's pretty simple math. I'd like to believe. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. If you don't mind, I'd really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, hit the like button. Help me out. Keeps me motivated to keep making content. So appreciate you guys popping in. Appreciate the watch. Appreciate you chiming in the chat. And if we get to 1,000 subscribers before the NFL draft, 12-hour live stream, which is always fun. It's always fun. Yeah. Let's go Kenyon Sadiq. I watched this film. I didn't think I was going to like him as much as I did. I watched this film. He is tight end 1 for me. Yeah, that's giving away the rankings. We'll have another ranking show. I'm picking away at it and I'm getting there with my rankings, but I don't want to have another episode until we're a little bit more deep into it. But Sadiq is my tight end 1. I didn't expect to like him as much as I did. I didn't think going into the tape that I was gonna, he's gonna pop off and kind of be that guy, but he's that guy for me. He's definitely that guy for me. So this is a fun room. I might even just get another rookie. We'll see if it's Eli Stowers. But I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Third year Brock Bowers, Kenyon Sadiq, rookie. We'll see what we do. But I probably will bring in a third tight end, but it won't be till potentially my last pick in this entire draft, realistically. I don't know if I should go one way or the other, but I think it's going to be one of these two, either Cam Ward or Malik Willis. Do I gamble that Malik Willis goes to Miami and is Jalen Waddle's quarterback? Do I gamble that, or do I take Cam Ward, who is probably more talented and more skilled? Let's take Malik Willis. I haven't clicked him in a little while. We're just going to gamble he goes to Miami and he's stacked up with Waddle, and that's kind of fun. Then my top 3 wide receivers are stacked up with my quarterbacks. That's kind of fun. I kind of like it. And then I'm done at QB. That's a good time. I kind of like that. It's a fun build, fun squad. I think this is a fun squad. Yeah, I think similar to last year. Certainly in the big board season, mind you, like Cam Ward. Who else do we have in the QB room here? Yeah, realistically, I kind of still want to be done. Maybe Kirk Cousins, and I do have some shares for sure. I thought he would stay in Atlanta. Doesn't sound like it, but I feel like that might be a mistake by the Falcons. But it's a financial decision. I get it. But other than that, I was taking a lot of JJ McCarthy, but now with this whole Kirk Cousins situation, JJ McCarthy might not be starting in Minnesota. So it's kind of muddied that up a little bit. What I'm getting at is I kind of want to be done again drafting quarterbacks. Let's say round 13. Last year it was round 12 where I was saying I have to be done drafting quarterback. This year I think it's round 13. So same range realistically. Where I want to be done with my 3 most likely. If I can get away with 2 QBs, which is honestly fairly tough to do, like Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, I think you should definitely be done at 2. But even like Herbert and Herbert and Prescott, or Herbert and Goff, maybe Herbert and Caleb Williams, something like that, maybe. You could stop at 2, but other than that, I'm taking 3, and then I want to be done by round 13. It's kind of my hard cutoff as far as that's concerned. So it's Braylon or Katron. I'm gonna go. I really like Katron Allen. I think he's being kind of overlooked. But let's go Braylon. I just really like that Jets offensive line, and with the defensive head coach. Yeah. I think that he can be kind of a league winner this year. I'll take one more running back, obviously. Yeah, I don't feel super comfortable stopping at 5 here. So it's the old 3-6-8-3. Though I could maybe stop at two tight ends. We'll see how the wide receiver room feels towards the end. Katron Allen goes. I probably would have just been forced to click him there if I'm being honest with you. But we'll see where this goes at the end of the draft. Maybe I just take Barner. No, if he falls another full kind of round, then I'll take Barner. But I don't feel the need. I do not feel the need to take him here. I'd honestly rather take my 6th running back than AJ Barner right here. Though I'm not going to take a running back with this pick. It's going to be Chimere DK, that's for sure. Easy click for me. Easy click. Love me some Chimere DK this year. Love me some DK. I've been doing something new where my third quarterback, I'm not caring about a stack at all. If it happens, fine, but it's there for insurance anyways. Yeah, I'm doing that with all my quarterbacks, man. I've been saying it all draft season so far that I genuinely don't particularly care about stacking. If it falls into my lap and it works, I'm doing it. Obviously, I'm trying to, you know, I'm not even really like, I don't care about stacking particularly in the big board. When the summer comes and it's best ball mania season, we can have a different conversation. Like, I'm just trying to focus on who is the best player, in my opinion, in this spot. Who's the best pick? And that's what I'm really focused on. Let's make it simple, guys. Keep it simple, stupid. Pick the best player. Wild strategy, I know, but that's my strategy in the big board this year. Make the best possible selection that makes sense for your build. Obviously, my structure has to make the most sense. And then just who's the best player in this spot to pick, in my opinion. That's all that matters to me. If I can backstack later, cool, which you can do a lot. So if I had taken Cam Ward instead of Malik Willis, Shamir DK is a smash for me. So that's an obvious kind of bring back. I like Gunnar Helm as well. So that's a guy that I like that I will be drafting a lot of. And yeah, it stacks if I get Cam Ward. So again, in this draft, it just fell into my lap. It really did. Njigba, Williams, Waddle, and then I hopefully with the Malik Willis, if he goes to Miami, I have them all stacked up. But that's the best. That was the best selection at the time. Give me Goff over Nix. Give me Goff over Purdy. I mean, that's really close. But give me Goff over Purdy, who's been just habitually just disrespected. And then again, Darnold over Mayfield. We can have that conversation. Willis and Ward, we can absolutely have that conversation. But when it's close and makes sense, then we're gonna take our swings. Probably just Singleton and be done. I still like Singleton. 16th round. Let's do it. Now we're done at running back. I think there's lots of wide receiver clicks down here. I think there's lots. There always is in the big board. There's always lots of clicks that are viable, in my opinion. And there's not so much for running back. So God, these auto Q picks just take forever. Has anyone else noticed that? It's really annoying. And I might still stop at 2 tight ends, Bowers and Sadiq. So I might be able to throw another wide receiver at the room. But anyways, that's where I'm at. And I know Candyman was talking about this too. We had a conversation on stream a while back randomly. And that's what he was saying is just essentially it's the Matthew Stafford, parallel conversation, right? So I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I'm pretty convinced that one of the Indiana wide receivers are going to get drafted by the Raiders. So that would not be amazing, I suppose. I already have Bowers, and if I get Cooper here, then if they're on the same team, I don't necessarily love that, but I really like Omar Cooper. So let's bring him up a little bit. There's no such thing as a reach this late in the draft. So ADP means nothing in these stages. So let's bring up Cooper and take him there. Pitts was my darling last season at the big discount. Now his price is just fair. Yeah. I mean, I was on Pitts enough. I wasn't like pounding the table for Kyle Pitts, but I definitely was drafting him. Absolutely. I agree with that though, especially like we'll see if he goes to Cincinnati, where does he go? I don't know. That'll be an interesting conversation. If he goes to even the Eagles, does he go up or down? I'm assuming honestly, most landing spots are gonna push Kyle Pitts back up the board a little bit. Certainly ahead of Laporta, in my opinion. I know everyone's in love with this Drew Petzing thing with him going to Detroit. And yeah, I get it, but like McBride is just so far head and shoulders the best receiving option in Arizona that it's not like Drew Petzing is a tight end guy. He's a fucking talent guy. I would assume. Like, who is the most talent in my receiving room? It's Trey McBride that just so happens to play tight end, right? That's my opinion on it. I don't think that Drew Petzing is going to come in to Detroit and we're not going to have 1,000-yard, 160 plus target Amon-Ra St. Brown and 1,000-yard receiver Jameson Williams take a hit for Sam Laporta. That's my opinion on it. So I think Kyle Pitts can easily jump Laporta again. But then, like, I guess Fannin, I think he could jump Fannin realistically because Fannin needs to continue to fall a little bit, I think. Tight ends are kind of drying up. I could have taken Freiermuth there, and I probably would have if P punched in. That's a good pick by P punch. So we're gonna bring in my guy Jeremy Bernard. He's just always the guy. He's always the guy. Always the guy. I'm gonna have 1,000,000% Jeremy Bernard. It's gonna be wild. I think I'm at like, I don't know, 70 or something stupid, 60 to 70% Jeremy Bernard, and I'm gonna click him every single time in the 18th round. Every single time. So I might end up just stopping at 2 tight ends. I think I will. I think I absolutely will. Looks like Stowers went. Yep. Stowers. I would have taken him, but that's okay. So now we're going to be done at tight end. So we're just going to throw 9 at the wide receiver room, which I kind of like. Actually, I think this is a fine room. I really do. I think this is a nice looking wide receiver room. I like this team a lot, actually. I like this team a lot. This is a fun squad. I'm not going to take Ayumanor with Chimirudike. Ryan Flournoy is kind of interesting, but I don't think I'm going to go down that road. Yeah, he goes anyways, which is totally fine. I am going to go with, it would have been Jalen Noel. That sucks. So what am I going to do now? Panic click. I'm going to take Kevin Coleman. I doubt everybody knows who he is in the chat. I was going to take him in the 20th round, so it's whatever. I'm going to just pull him up. We're going to have a chat about Kevin Coleman at some point. Probably not right now, as in definitely not right now. But we're definitely going to have a chat about Kevin Coleman in the near future. And then I'm probably just going to take another rookie, I suppose, just because, I mean, I guess Devontae Walker I could take a swing on right here. I don't hate that. But realistically, I think it's just another rookie. Tez can be fun. Xavier Legette sounds like he's going to be working with Ocho Cinco this offseason. Take that for what it's worth. I'm not a big Malachi Fields guy. I'm really not. Eric McAllister goes. I like Eric McAllister. But that's not who I'm going to be taking. I don't mind Antonio Williams at all. I think he's a professional wide receiver. He's going to be drafted by a team, and he's going to be on the field in 11 personnel for sure. Straight up slot wide receiver. I like Chase Roberts a little bit. I like Skylar Bell. Actually, I really like Chase Roberts, but, Yeah, it's probably just one of these guys. Tua goes in the 20th round. Holy moly. I guess. Interesting. Interesting. We're still 10 of 12 in the bigger board. So we're in the last round. If you want to get into the bigger board, $100 draft on stream, we're doing it. If it two more get in there right away, sort of thing. So I hope it does. I don't think I'm going to join another draft. I don't want to get a round and a half into another draft and then the bigger board fills and we have to swap it over. So maybe I'll just put a post on Twitter if I have to. But hopefully it just organically fills two more in a bigger board. And then that'll be fun. It's obviously one of these guys. I've kind of gotten away from the Skylar Bell click. I don't think I have enough Antonio Williams. All things being equal, Williams probably gets the highest draft capital. Though Skylar Bell might be close. It's a bit of a different room, that's for sure. Yeah, post it who, Hames, if you don't mind. We'll go over these teams, so we got a few more minutes. But if it fills, we'll jump over there. Let's go through my team. We've got me and Peanut Punch, right? We'll take a look at Davis's team because why not? While we're killing time. But we'll do myself and P Punch first. So we got Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, and Malik Willis. I think that's more than fine. Draft capital's good. ADP's good. Everything works. Perfect. I like it. They stack up. We talked about don't need to beat that dead horse. We got Chase Brown, Jalen Warren, Kyle Monagai, Emmett Johnson, Braylon Allen, and Nick Singleton. I like this room. I think it definitely works. Definitely works. Home run hitter in Emmett Johnson and some big body guys that can get into the end zone. Chase Brown, high volume, hopefully. Might be re-signing him. So I like this room. Definitely works. Draft capital's there. I think it was a good. It's a good room. I like this wide receiver room actually. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jameson Williams, Jalen Waddle, Parker Washington, Shamiri DK, Omar Cooper, Jeremy Bernard, Kevin Coleman, and Antonio Williams. We're gonna have a chat about Kevin Coleman, like I said, but it's not going to be on tonight's episode. We'll talk about it in the next time I post, or next time we talk about my rankings and I pull up my Excel and all that. Then we're going to have a conversation about Kevin Coleman. But I like this room. I really like this room. Works for me. I think it's fun. 5 kind of vets, non-rookies, and then 4 rookies. I kind of dig that. Brock Bowers and Kenyon Sadiq. I like that as well. Obviously, Brock Bowers is, tight end 1 or 2, top 3, pretty much for sure. And I really like Kenyon Sadiq. We'll have that conversation as well when we haven't gone over the tight end rankings at all yet. But when we share the Excel sheet, we'll be chatting about our rankings and we'll be chatting about Kenyon Sadiq. But I like this team. I think it's great. 3-6-9-2. I think it's a really good squad, really well balanced. I think it makes sense. Good team. We'll do Peanut Punch. 2-6-9-3, Joe Burrow and Bo Nix. I like that. I think that definitely works. I think it's fine to stop at 2. I dig it. Anytime you can, I try to. Jonathan Taylor, Jeremiah Love, 1-2, picks 1 and 2. David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason, Tajay Spears. I'm not drafting J.K. Dobbins. I'm just not doing it. David Montgomery, I get, but I'm not particularly drafting him either. But I understand both of these clicks. I get it. It's just they're not for me. I'm not picking either of these two. Probably will have 0% of both, if I'm being honest with you. Definitely 0% J.K. Dobbins. And that might be hot takey, but I don't really care. I'm not picking a super injury prone, another year older J.K. Dobbins, who's also a free agent. But I like the top 2. I like the top 2 for sure. Might stack with Bo Nix, I suppose, if he does resign. I like Jordan Mason a lot. I like Tajay Spears a lot. So like the top two, like the bottom two, the middle two are kind of, I like David Montgomery more than J.K. Dobbins, and you got him at a discount, so that's fine. But either way, I don't mind it. All in all, the running back room is in good shape. I like it. T. Higgins, Devontae Adams, Roma Dunze, QJ, DJ Moore, Tucker, Mims, Iomanor, and Malik Washington. Mims stacks, T. Higgins stacks. I don't mind that. Trey Tucker's fine. DJ Moore, sure. Bunch of wide receivers and then nothing for a bit, and then finished it off with a few. Got some real good value on Iomanor, so that's fine. That's not bad. Yeah, this works. I dig it. DJ Moore may or may not be on the Bears, so yeah. Goddard, free agent, likely free agent. Freiermuth will be on the Steelers, who just signed an offensive coordinator who's a tight end coach for the Vikings. Sneaky good OC hire in Pittsburgh. I like Freiermuth. That would have been my click at the time that he took him. Peanut punch, but this is definitely a good tight end room. I like that. That works. Good value on Goddard. So nicely done. Good squad. Still waiting on 2 for the bigger board. We're 10 of 12, waiting on 2. If you want to jump in, now's the time. And since we're waiting, we'll take a peek at Davis Maddox team here. 3, 6, 7, 4. Interesting. 4 tight ends. Baker Mayfield, Tyler Shuck, and Michael Penix, all NFC South quarterbacks. Looks like Penix is just going to be given the ball again, so we'll see if he can stay healthy. But Baker and Shuck are fine. I'm not so sure about Penix. I'm not going to be drafting any Penix personally. Again, probably a 0 for me. Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Tony Pollard, Alvin Kamara, and Katron Allen. I really like this running back room. Nothing really negative to say there. I like Breece Hall a lot. Tony Pollard, again, habitually just disrespected. I think Alvin Kamara's being a little bit disrespected here too. I think he's a fine click. The dude loves football. He loves football. And he's not going to retire. He may not be on the Saints, which may or may not hurt him, but he's not retiring. So I like Kamara. At least I don't think he's retiring. And I like Katron Allen for sure. That's a good running back room. Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Classic. Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans. I'm pretty much not drafting Mike Evans either, personally. Age, hamstrings, free agency. He's kind of off my board realistically. Rashee Rice is off my board at this price. I like Xavier Worthy. I'm not really drafting Hunter either, if I'm being honest. Zachariah Branch and Malachi Fields, not particularly 2 rookies that I like a crazy amount. I don't mind Branch, I suppose. But Malachi Fields, we'll have a conversation about him as well when I share my rankings. I'm not too heavy on Malachi Fields, but whatever. Tyler Warren, Schultz, and Ingram. Justin Jolly is not draftable to me. Again, we can have a conversation about Justin Jolly when we take a look at the rankings and all of that. Did some tape study on him. I think you're perfectly fine with Tyler Warren and 2 others. So this is fine to stop at 3. I don't know why Justin Jolly is necessary on this team. I would have taken another wide receiver personally, but yeah, sure. Let's just pull this up. We're waiting on 2, 3 now. Waiting on 3. That's annoying. Waiting on 3 for a bigger board. Someone must have left while I was drafting. Yeah, man, no worries. Appreciate you drafting with me. Appreciate you coming in. We got Sus Edwards in here. If Dobbins returns to Denver, where would you rank him? I'm still not high on J.K. Dobbins. I'm not. His injuries are just, I'm not drafting J.K. Dobbins. I'm not. I didn't draft him last year. I didn't draft him the year before, or the year before that, or the year before that. I'm not drafting J.K. Dobbins. I'm not ranking him anywhere that makes sense to anyone that likes J.K. Dobbins. So it's just is what it is. It's not going to happen. I'm not drafting J.K. Dobbins. I do not like taking injury-prone players, especially, again, like injury prone player who's also a free agent. And even if he goes back to Denver, is it a good spot? Yeah, sure. It is a fine spot for J.K. Dobbins, especially, but I wouldn't rank him anywhere that makes sense to anyone that likes J.K. Dobbins in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, if that makes any sense, which it pretty much doesn't, but I hear you. Big Mike could have a Adams 2025 type season and pay off ADP. Big health risk, obviously. Yeah, he could. There's just too many ifs in that conversation, too many coulds in that conversation for me personally. Where does he go that happens? Does he stay in Tampa Bay? Does he stay healthy? Like, he can't really realistically go somewhere that's cold weather. So I see a lot of people being like, oh yeah, Buffalo. And it's like, yeah, sure, in a vacuum, but cold weather, I don't know, man. I don't know. For a guy that's played in Tampa Bay his whole career, and now he's old and his hamstrings are falling apart. There's just been too much soft tissue stuff for Mike Evans for me that I'm not going to be drafting him. Like, his price, I guess, is fine. I get it. It's quite a bit lower than it was last year. We're at what? Yeah, 72 basically. Last year was half that. So he's pretty much off my board realistically. Just a little too nervous about the outcomes. My worry would be Evans replicates his receptions and yards of Adams, but not the TDs. Yeah, that's kind of what my concern would be as well. Like, would he be that red zone threat in any other offense for any other quarterback? I don't know. Even if he goes back to Tampa Bay, it's a new offensive coordinator. That can change some things, right? Everyone else, maybe not Liam Cohen. No, I don't know if Liam Cohen was there before with Canales, but Grizzard was there beforehand. So it's not the same offense, obviously, but the guys that they've been in the building, they're in the program, if you will. So I kind of agree. I have a hard time thinking he's just going to throw up 14 touchdowns, leading the league in touchdowns kind of thing. He's just not for me. He's just not for me. And that's kind of where it is. Like, you guys know me. If you watch this show for any amount of time, number one, I'm not going to get bullied or talked into liking players that I don't. Number two, I'm not afraid to take I'm not afraid to have a zero exposure, I should say. I'm not afraid to not draft a guy. And typically I do pretty well with that, if we're being honest. I have a track record of it. We can go back and talk about it. I do pretty well with that. I'm not saying I'm going to be right 100% of the time, because that's obviously not possible. But I have a reasonable track record on my 0% stands. And, I'm not going to get bullied into liking a guy that I don't, or talked into it, or what have you. So hopefully that's why you like this show. Evans has made a living out of tight ends. He's a bit of a or touchdowns. He's a bit of a tight end in that regard, right? Like, he had that 2 touchdown year, 1,000 yards, 2 touchdowns, I believe, right? So, and for the majority of Mike Evans' career, I'm a massive Mike Evans fan. For the majority of his career, I was a massive Mike Evans apologist and just defender of Mike Evans, because he was shit on for the first half of his career, realistically. For God knows why. It didn't make any sense in the world, but fantasy circles, he was kind of shit on for the first half of his career. Again, just didn't make any sense to me. So now it's at the point where, yeah, he's on that like Julio Jones trajectory, realistically. Like, it's a quick fall off for these wide receivers that start to fall apart physically. We've seen it time and time again. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Like, could he do Devontae Adams? Maybe, but I just really don't think so. Like, it's not like he has the body type of like a Larry Fitzgerald. Like, a Larry could just get it done one way or another. And I just don't know if Mike Evans can do that at this stage of his career. I just have a hard time believing that personally. Appreciate that. He's being priced more like 800 yards, 7-8 touchdowns. I understand not liking Evans, even if I do like him. Yeah, that's fair. Like him. I also don't expect to change your mind either. I'm not one of those fantasy guys that's going to be like, I'm right, you're wrong. I might absolutely be wrong, but you know, as long as you're paying the money to make the draft picks, do whatever the hell you want, right? Like, don't let me talk you into anything, but I'm not going to let you talk me into anything either. So there you go. Yeah, each year is a new slate. So looking at his past touchdowns does absolutely nothing for me. That's what I was saying. Was it last week? Last episode, which was last week, or the episode before, something like that. It was I'm seeing a lot of again, just overreacting and kind of reacting to last year's outcomes and results. It means nothing. Yes, throw it in the hopper, throw it in the blender to develop your take and whatnot, but it's a brand new slate. So much changes year over year that you cannot just take the information and say that's what's going to happen again next year. Mike Evans is a touchdown guy, therefore he's going to get touchdowns, right? It's not the way to play this game, in my opinion. But I agree with this. I agree with this, FK. That's what I've been trying to pound the table for, is year over year. It doesn't translate. It doesn't add up always, right? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't think we're getting a bigger board. Unfortunately, that sucks. It's just not going to happen. We're waiting on 3 still. We did a whole draft while we were waiting, and it's just not going to happen. Let's get into a big board. I'm just going to leave this. We're going to leave this. Let's get into another big board so we can get the show moving, make some picks here. We'll get one eventually. We'll get a bigger board eventually rolling. But waiting on 5 in this big board, $10 draft, waiting on 5, 3, 1. Let's get this influencer 1-1, man, or 1-2. Let's get the 2 pick. Let's get the 2 spot, but it'll be 9. Guarantee you I'm 9. Guarantee you I'm 9. 5 again. Okay, 5 again. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can get someone different. I might just force it, but not really, because I need all of these top 5 guys. I need some Jackson Smith and Jigma, so I will take him if he's there. We got Young Moolah in the chat at the 2 spot. We got Peanut Punch at the 7 spot. Sleepy Steve has been in both drafts, so maybe he's in the chat just creeping. That's all right. Creep away. But, say hello. We got Lol Samo in the 11 spot. Appreciate you. Kanye West. How's that name still available? That's kind of crazy. That's kind of wild that that's still available. Badgeless. T-Money over here. A couple badgeless guys. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully it's prudent. How do you rank JSN, Chase Puka? Do you want equal amounts? So what's your plan? Yeah, equal. I don't like, number one, again, like I've been bitching about, I'm not getting these friggin' top 5 selections to get any exposure to them. But right now I have the most Chase just because of how it's kind of landed. But if, in a perfect world, if I could make it happen, I would just take an equal amount of all. Well, I would have Puka and Chase ahead of JSN for sure, with the offensive coordinator change in Seattle. But like JSN is pretty much just like the clear cut 5. If it goes the way it has here, which it typically does, then JSN is just such a clear, far and away, number 5 pick. And that's perfectly fine. So I would like to have equal amounts, but it's just not going to happen. So as it sits right now, I have Chase. I don't have a single share of Puka, and that's not for lack of trying. That's for damn sure. It's just I'm not getting these top 5 picks. So I have 0 Gibbs, I have 0 Bijan, and 0 Puka. So I've got maybe 2 or 3 Chase, 2 or 3 in Jigba, and that's it. So yeah, I would like to get some, but it's just not happening. I agree that I wouldn't mind being like 7.5 JSN, like more of the other 2 or something. Yeah, that's exactly where I'd like to be if I could make it happen. Again, in a perfect world, but you realistically can't have more than, even it's tough to even have more than, like the 7.5 or the 8.7 or whatever the field is on all of the first round picks, right? It's difficult to do that. But I mean, if I could, I would like to be 10% Chase, 10% Puka, 10% Gibbs, 10% Bijan. Not going to happen. Right. So, and then maybe like, I don't know, 7 or 8% JSN. If you could draft that way, that'd be cool, but you absolutely can't. So, kind of, it is what it is. 8.3. Yeah. 8.7, 8.3. 8.3 is the field. So, there you go. There you go. Kanye West pulls up Chase Brown. Okay. Interesting. I had a team last night, or a drafter last night, draft all Bengals, Browns, and Saints. I don't think that draft will get tossed. I hope it doesn't. It shouldn't. But it was very intentional. So I really don't think you should throw that out at all. But that's just me. Definitely Jeremiah Love here. I love Love. I love Love. I love Love. I think Love's gonna pass Barkley here in the near future. Just again with the offensive line changes and issues and concerns. Offensive line coach. I think Love is gonna surpass Barkley and maybe even Derrick Henry. Give me Derrick Henry over Barkley. Give me Love over Barkley. Give me Hampton over Barkley. I'd probably take Barkley over Chase Brown personally, but it's not super far out or far away. It's kind of Josh Allen over any of these wide receivers for me too. And then I just like these running backs. I think Bucky's a great click. Bucky over Derrick Henry. I don't think that's as far as it sounds, but other people might think that. Young Moolah clearly doesn't. ETN gets pulled up. Interesting. Definitely won't be taking Rashee Rice, I'll tell you that much for 100%. It's Breece Hall for me. I like Breece Hall a lot. And I hate falling behind at running back. Breece Hall over Kenny Walker? I think so. I already like how this team is shaping up. I really do. 3 straight running backs is very viable, I feel like, this year. But I do like doing this, especially if you can get a top tier Puka, Chase, JSN, and then 2 very good running backs that I like personally. Love Walker, Love Hall, Hampton, Hall, Hampton, Walker, Henry, Bucky, those types of guys in and around where my draft picks are here. I think that's fun. So in and around like 3 to 5, you get one of these wide receivers, and then you get 2 running backs that you like. I think that's a fun way to work it. I think that makes a lot of sense. Let's pull up the draft order, and then we'll talk about it. Because I think Washington is possible. Let's pull up FK's comment. What do you project as top 2 most likely landing spots for Love? I think Washington is on the table at 7. I think the Titans could be on the table at 4, though it's fairly unlikely there. So I think realistically, I think the first spot that could take Jeremiah Love would be 7 with the Commanders, though I'm not sure that regime would pull the trigger on a running back there. I'm really not sure that's how that would go. We're going Loveland here. That's kind of a no-brainer there. We're going Loveland. So I think that's the first kind of opportunity for Love to get drafted. And then it's the next teams after them, right? So the Commanders at 7, the Saints at 8, and then the Chiefs at 9. Then you also have the Cowboys at 12, right? So all of those teams are very viable. Was it last year? Yeah, last year I had the Cowboys trading up for Ashton Genty. We'll see what the tea leaves tell me when I do the mock draft that I do every year, my one mock draft. And we'll see, but I might have the Cowboys trading up for Love. I think that makes a lot of sense if they can't keep George Pickens, which I don't particularly see how they do. Then get yourself one of the best playmakers in the draft and get Jeremiah Love. But who do they trade with? Like, I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but just looking at the current draft order, no trades, no digging, no tea leaves, no nothing. That would be my kind of answer. Do I want to take Trevion with the ADP dip here? If I'm not going to take him here, where do I take him? Do I ever take him? Let's do Trevion. I don't like this range, and I don't particularly like Trevion Henderson, but I think he's fine. Definitely a spike week guy for sure. So he's absolutely fine, especially as my running back 3. And if I'm not going to take him 8 picks past ADP, when am I ever going to take Trevion Henderson? So let's do that. But yeah, those are the 4 teams. Would be the Commanders at 7, the Saints at 8, the Chiefs at 9, and the Cowboys at 12. So we'll see when I do some like tea leaf reading and digging into it and see what we come up with for the mock draft. It's not confirmed yet. It's still very much. Supposedly the Cowboys haven't talked to George Pickens at all. That's just what's been in the news. I wouldn't say they already confirmed. Actually, the Cowboys came out and said that we haven't talked to George Pickens about a franchise tag. So I know that's what's in the news right now, but it actually, the opposite has been reported. So do I think they're franchise tag him? Possibly. But I also think the most likely scenario would be a tag and trade. I just don't, is it possible? Absolutely. Again, go back to last week or whatever it was and watch my breakdown of the whole George Pickens scenario. And can they do it? Yes, absolutely. The Cowboys can make it work for sure. How can they make it work? A lot of tough things have to happen. And that includes either releasing Kenny Clark. They cannot trade him. So releasing Kenny Clark to free up $21.5 million, paying Dak Prescott at least $30 million cash. CeeDee Lamb, similar situation, cash money. Here's a check for, call it $10 to $20 million, and probably Tyler Smith as well. Spot Rack made a little video on Twitter about this whole situation, and that was his scenario, was cutting a check to Dak, CeeDee, and Tyler Smith, and redoing the contract of, I think, Kenny Clark or somebody, redoing the contract of somebody. So yeah, can they do it? Yes, absolutely. Will they be able to make it happen? I am not so sure about that personally. I just have a hard time. If they weren't gonna do all this stuff, the restructuring, cut Dak a fat check, if they weren't gonna do it for Micah Parsons, we're saying they're gonna do that for George Pickens though. I don't know. I have a hard time with that. I really, really do. I'm gonna go Joe Burrow here. I don't care about people being, oh, you have to stack Joe Burrow. How do you take Joe Burrow if you don't have wide receivers? How do you take Joe Burrow? I'm taking Joe Burrow. So yeah. Yeah, I know you don't have to. It's not an agreement. You tag him. I understand that, but it's as far as I've heard conflicting. I've heard both sides of this. And again, that doesn't really, I don't really care if they even tag him. Like this, it doesn't mean that he's going to play under the tag. There's a lot more to the conversation than like they tag him, he plays. It's not Madden, right? So it's a long conversation. It's a longer conversation than they're tagging him and he's playing under the tag. There's way more nuance to it. And I think we all know that. I just don't see how they afford to do it. If they didn't do it for Micah Parsons, we're saying that he's going to do it. They're going to do it for George Pickens. I don't know. Maybe they like George Pickens more, but they also have Javonte Williams. They also have Brandon Aubrey that they need to get done. Aubrey is going to command a record kicker contract, right? For sure. And they got to bring in a running back. So they could accomplish that with Jeremiah Love if they want to trade up and get him, or maybe he's still there for them at 12, whatever. So they could accomplish it that way. They're going to bring back Brandon Aubrey for sure. And with the tag, let's say they do tag Pickens, they're about $60 million in the hole. Can they get out of it? Again, absolutely they can. But Jerry Jones isn't necessarily known for cutting a check for $40 million to Dak Prescott. I just have a heart, and they got to kick his contract down the road. They got to kick at least 2 more years on his contract to make that happen. So again, is it possible? Yes. Is it going to happen? I think it's a lot more nuanced than just they're tagging him and he's playing, and that's that. It's a lot more to the conversation than that. I think what you said is encouraging for Love, because in those theory, I'll be fantasy friendly landing spots. Yeah, I think Love is going to have a great landing spot, and I think I know he's legit. He's what everybody wanted Ashton Genty to be last year. That's what Jeremiah Love is. I'm definitely a buyer. We got the realist. What's up, man? Doing well. No, I'm not. We already did one. We waited to do a bigger board, but it didn't fill, unfortunately. So this will be the last one for tonight. Then we'll be back on Wednesday night. Parsons was a problem with the run D, though. Yeah, he was not great in the run D, and he disappeared in big games. And if he didn't get a sack, the Cowboys didn't win. That was another kind of I'm okay, especially with the compensation that they got back for Micah. But again, it's just like, if they're not going to do it there, then when are they going to do it, kind of thing. That's kind of what it boils down to for me. Like, when they actually had a Super Bowl window open a couple years ago, they could have done this similar types of stuff. They could have paid Dak Prescott. They could have, freed up some cap space, blah, 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 and then gone after a Super Bowl. And they didn't, like 3 years in a row kind of thing. So if they're just going to continue to not do that, I can't just believe that they're going to do it this year. I just have a hard time believing that. But again, is it doable? Yes, it's absolutely doable. Are they going to do it? I don't know. Cowboys going to sign Breece Hall. They can't afford him with even without the George Pickens tag. I don't think they could afford Breece Hall. Could they make that happen? Sure, but they're less likely to go out and get Breece Hall. So I would not put the Cowboys on the list of, likely Breece Hall landing spots. Personally, I think it's either Javonte Williams goes back, or they draft somebody like a Jeremiah Love or somebody, Emmett Johnson, whatever, insert name, Katron Allen, insert name of quality rookie running back that they're going to give, 200 plus touches to. But I personally wouldn't put Breece Hall on the list for the Cowboys. We haven't really talked about the picks I've been making, but I got Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. I'm going to be done at quarterback. I'll tell you that much. I like Blake Corum here if he's still there. Yeah, I kind of have to take the dip there. I think Blake Corum's a fine click down here. Actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to take Gadsden, pair him up, and then we could be done at 2 tight ends potentially. That would be kind of a fun way to build, which we've done on this show on earlier episodes where we did 2 quarterbacks and 2 tight ends. We might just do that. And I could still stop at 5 running backs and then just blast wide receiver with volume again. That could be fun. I do want to get some of that in my portfolio. So I said when I made that, episode the other week, and I said it on Twitter the other day, this whole George Pickens situation is going to be contentious, and it's going to be pretty much like the number one thing to pay attention to as far as draft season is concerned and drafting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. New league year starts, I think, March 3rd or something like that. March 8th, the new league year starts. So that will tell us some stuff. Free agency tampering period is like 22 or 28 days away, something like that, which is essentially free agency. Like this whole tampering period, it's like, just call it what it is. That's when free agency opens. Like the contracts don't become official until 4 days later or whatever it is, but whatever. I'm not too worried about it. The tampering period is free agency. So that will obviously tell us a whole lot more. So yeah, hopefully it gets clearer as we go, and before the big board season is, completed, I hope we get at least a bunch more clarity. I'm not sure we're going to get the final answer, but if we can get some more clarity on this situation, that would be helpful. Let's do Jalen Coker. I haven't really drafted him much, but I think it makes the most sense right here. Definitely the most upside out of this little mini group. Even throw Golden and Higgins in there. I think Coker's still, maybe Higgins, you could say. And I mean, if you're a Matthew Golden truther, sure, you could say Golden. But I think out of this little mini tier grouping of wide receivers, I think Coker has the most upside there, personally. So it'll pretty much be like this from now on. If I do take a third tight end, it won't be till the very end of the draft. And I'm not taking a third quarterback. That's just not happening. That is just not going to happen. Yeah, players must be franchised by 3/3. Free agent signing starts 3/11. We're getting closer. Yeah. So, but that's just when they start. That's not even the deadline. So the deadline for franchise tagging, but even that, like, you can go into the summer. It's whenever George Pickens signs it that really, you know what I mean? That's like Pickens can just say no. I'm not going to play on it, essentially, which is not out of the question for a guy like George Pickens. So that's the other thing that's should be part of this conversation and equation. Is George Pickens the type of, person that we think he is? I'm not saying I know what George Pickens is like or who he is or all that. I'm not under any illusions that I know the inner workings of George Pickens' mind. But from on the surface, from what we've seen out of George Pickens, it's on the table that he doesn't sign his franchise tag, because he'd be like giving up essentially roughly 4 to 5 million in kind of annual average, in my estimation. So, and no, he could go and rip his ACL, like no security, right? Let's do Emmett Johnson here. Easy click always right here is Emmett Johnson for me. So I don't know. We'll see. It's just a very, 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 very nuanced conversation, this whole George Pickens thing. And it just makes it tough for me to click him this high. If he's not on the Cowboys, like that's why we're clicking him here, is because he's on the Cowboys. And I get it. I'm fine with that. If he is on the Cowboys and I know it, I'll click him. Maybe somewhere around here, maybe. But I do still think CeeDee Lamb is a fine click where he's going. I definitely do think that. So we'll see how that shakes out. It's an interesting one. The Cowboys are really interesting. Plus, their defense is a pile of hot garbage. Their defense sucks ass. So they really need to put some whatever they can into that defense. They're going to lose Kenneth Murray almost for sure, but they have Logan Wilson to step in. That's fine. Then they need safety help. Donovan Wilson's a free agent as well. He's probably gone. They need some pass rush help, right? They need corners that can play, Maybe what's his name? The kid from East Carolina can be a corner for them. What's his name? Ripped his ACL, but maybe he can be a kid for them, a good player for them this year, healthy. We'll see. But they already let go Diggs, which we know. Deron Bland is bland, to say the least. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It's an interesting one. It's a long conversation. It's a very interesting situation to keep an eye on. So other than that, like who is really like the one we're really keeping an eye on? I guess like the Vikings quarterback situation, but we're betting on Jefferson's talent anyways, which is fine. I mean, Love in the draft, but I mean, we won't know until the draft. So there's that. Free agent period. I mean, Kenny Walker, Brees Hall, ETN, those types of guys. You know, I guess what'll be really fun is who ends up getting cut and released by teams. You know, Tyreek Hill most likely to be released. Dobbs is a free agent. Goddard's a free agent. It's a lot of unknowns right now, but I don't particularly love much of anything in this range, realistically. But let's do Higgins. 14 picks past ADP. I just said he might have the same or more upside than Coker. So 14 picks past ADP. Let's get Jaden Higgins. Let's do that. I'm with you in what you're saying about the D. Makes me think they stand pat on draft night and just take the best defensive player on the board. They could definitely do that. But you know, again, Love is on the table because that's how they can address their running back room, and it would be in a very good spot if they went down that road. Yeah, and then potentially allocate some funds to free agency if there's someone or anyone there that is cheap enough, essentially. So lots of variables, definitely lots of variables. It's just most certainly not cut and dry. It is so nuanced, that Cowboy situation. So nuanced. Jordan Mason's a good click. That's who I would have went with there if he were still on the board. You can go Braylon. That's a little early for Braylon. I think we'll do Jalen McMillan here. Yeah. I think we'll do Jalen McMillan here. I don't know really who's drafting Charbonnet right now. It's not me. I'm not drafting any Charbonnet right now. He's a phenomenal player, but I'm just not drafting Charbonnet after a torn ACL in January. Just not on my draft board. I know week 17 is all that matters, but yeah. Not for me. He's not for me. So again, back to what we're just kind of rambling about. There's a lot of things to still consider. The new league year. When is the new league year? Let's see that, because that's a huge. That's a huge date. March 12th. March 12th. Okay. Big day. March 9th is when they can start that's the tampering period, which is the start of free agency. And then the new league year is the 11th. So, or sorry, March 12th is the new league year, technically. That's a big date. That's going to tell us a lot of where these salary cap situations are. That's going to tell us a lot. So between basically in the next 30 days, we're going to see a lot of these players get released, some of them. So going down the list, it's like, yeah, Jacobs, pretty unlikely, but he's on the list of potentials. Pretty unlikely, though, in my opinion. Um, could guys get traded? AJ Brown, again, quite unlikely, but I guess he's on the list. Swift on the list. Javonte's a free agent, but we're talking about trade potentials here. I don't know. We'll maybe take another look there. Let's go Braylon. Not sure how he's still on the board. Let's go Braylon. It'd be kind of a disaster if Breece Hall goes back to the Jets, but I think the only way that that's possible is if they tag him, which I don't think would be very smart to do for the organization. That would make no sense in the position that that team is in to tag Breece Hall, but it's possible. Just very unlikely. I like this running back room. Do I stop at 5? I don't think so. There's still too many question marks there. You know, rookie, free agent. There's still too many question marks. We're going to have to put 4 running backs in that room, but it's not a real concern. I can wait. I can take one late. I can take another rookie, maybe, whatever. Chimere DK. It's kind of always Chimere DK here in this kind of range. It's always Chimere DK for me. I'm going to be pretty exposed, I feel like, to Chimere DK. Big play guy. His skill set's just not particularly replaceable for this team in this draft. Whereas Iomanor's is. And I like Chimere DK. Big play guy. Spike week guy. One play and he can show up in your lineup. If you're still watching, just popping in, hit that like button for me if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, you see the ticker down below. Hit the subscribe button. Help me out. Really keeps the guy motivated to keep making content, you know. Don't charge anything for this. It's free for you. Just click a button, you know. Just like to have a little red wine and draft some best ball teams. You know what I'm saying? Barner caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Think he still has a prominent role next year. I bet on that. I was a Hunter Henry touchdown short of a parlay. I thought the tight ends would show out in that game, but the Patriots didn't even particularly get off the bus, realistically, until the fourth quarter, I guess. So that kind of hurt. Trey Harris goes. He would have been on the list of the short list of selections. Could I go tight end? I suppose I could, but do I think it's necessary? I don't know. Dylan Sampson's an interesting one. Singleton goes. I might have went Singleton over Sampson, but let's take a Dylan Sampson share. I think. Let's take a Dylan Sampson share. Yeah. Haven't clicked him. I think this might be the first time I've clicked Dylan Sampson. He's fine. I wasn't the biggest Dylan Sampson guy coming into the league as a rookie. But he played all right. And there's no guarantees that Judkins comes back quick and easy from his injury. So, and he's kind of the passing down guy anyways. So could get mixed in a little bit more next year. I don't mind that as my 6th running back. I think that's perfectly fine. I do want to get a little bit of the guy. I probably would still went Singleton over him. Just as a prospect, I'm a much bigger, Singleton believer than I ever was for Dylan Sampson, but I think he's fine. I think he's viable. Do I take a third tight end? If Terrence Ferguson's still there, I'm going to take a shot, I guess. Let's do that. Let's do that. This is the kind of tight end room that I like to take T Ferg. So I like that. Let's do that. And then I can still bring in 9 wide receivers, 2, 6, 9, 3. And I think that's pretty necessary. Wouldn't mind getting some rookies in this room. Doesn't mean I need 3, but I wouldn't mind getting some rookies. I only have 2 rookies on this team, which is fine. That's young players here, young players, second year, a room full of second-year tight ends. Second-year DK, second-year Higgins, young Coker, young McMillan, young Worthy. Even Smith and Jig was young, so it's not like I have any olds on this team. So, but we'll see. We'll see who's there. We'll see who's still available in the next 3 picks. Big Mike Washington goes. Don't mind that click. I like Mike Washington, but he's getting maybe steamed up a little bit too much right now. Not that, I mean, realistically, I shouldn't say that because 17th round is not steam, if we're being honest. If he starts going in like the 13th, 12th, 13th round or something, then, even like if he ever goes ahead of Katron Allen, I have a major problem with that. Even like, Braylon Allen, I have a major problem with that. But we'll see if that ever comes to fruition. And I doubt it will. So I shouldn't say he's getting steamed up, but it just feels like I'm hearing his name a lot in the Twitter machine about Mike Washington. I do like him, but I feel like he's getting pushed up right now. I saw somebody had him ranked as RB2, which I think is very aggressive. Too aggressive. Where like, I really don't think that could make sense. If you said Mike Washington is your, RB4, okay, I can get on board with that if you want to go that far. He's not my RB4, not even particularly close. But if somebody said that, I wouldn't say you're a crazy idiot. I would say that's aggressive, but okay, sure. Let's go Omar Cooper again. I like Omar Cooper. I'll take him down here. Hit a 4-player, moved K9 yards up to 129.5 as high as they would go, and I'm glad because I was going to try to move it up to 150, but that's all nice. I liked Kenny Walker, and you knew they were going to ride him, but I didn't know he was going to go that ham. He showed out. He was very good. He was the obvious MVP for sure. So yeah, good on you. I don't know if I have the stones go that high, considering like the Patriots didn't allow more than, what was it, like a 50 or 60 yard rusher for like 14 weeks or something during the season, something like that, or more even. They were very stout against the run. So I don't know if I would have had the stones to do that, but good on you, man. Glad it worked out. Nice bet. I got lucky because of the Stevenson touchdown at the end of the game. Nice. Yeah, that helped me out in the playoff best ball streets. So that was nice. But I needed a little bit more. It would have been nice to finish one spot higher in the mitten. Would have been great. Like I was just like praying for $5,000. That would have been real nice. That might that would have gotten close to washing out the season. It would have been close. I don't know. I'd have to. I still think it would have been in the minus a little bit, but young Moolah just won't let me have nice things with Jeremy Bernard. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I can do something different. We're gonna go Jack Besh here. It would be Jalen Noel, but I'm not going to take Noel when I have Higgins. I'm not going to bet on that offense to that extent. I like Jack Besh a lot. I'm trying to make sure that I still take some of these guys that I really liked as rookies. Do I think that the Raiders are going to draft a wide receiver? Almost certainly. Do I think that that wide receiver can come in and be wide receiver 1? Maybe. Maybe. If he's their second round pick, the first pick in the second round, maybe. But do they do that? I would prefer to go offensive line heavily and just hope that Bowers, Besh, Tucker can kind of get it done for me, and Thornton, if you want to throw him in there. So I'm drafting Besh like he can be wide receiver 2 at least on that team, if not potentially wide receiver 1 on that team. So I'm going to be highly exposed to Besh, I feel like I was last year. He's kind of one of my guys. I had him ranked very high. I liked him as a second round pick. He did go in the second round, but just didn't really come together. But was that his fault? I don't know. The Raiders were a hot mess last year. They were very much a hot mess. So was that on him? Maybe some of it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the room. I'm not in the building, but I like the talent. I like the player. I'm going to continue to bet on him in the 19th round. It's not like I'm making an expensive bet. How long have I been doing drafts? I've been making content for, I think, like 6 years now. I've been making content for a long time. I'd like to think I was the best kept secret out there for a long time. Still pretty secretive, I would think. Not a huge channel over here. But best ball drafts, this is my 4th year, but not streaming. I only started streaming 3 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. You can pull it up on my channel. Just pull it up and go back as far as you care to. Who do I want to take here? I'll make this pick and then we can finish that conversation. Oy, oy, oy. Do I take Jalen Noel here? Kinda. 20th round. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah, this is probably my 3rd year doing drafts on stream, and then my 4th year total. I maxed Best Ball Mania the last 2 seasons, and I'll probably talk myself into doing it again this year, though I don't know, but I'll probably talk myself into doing it again. So yeah, a little while, but I've been doing content for 6 years, and it all kind of like the old content that I used to do is still the type of stuff that I do, and I loop it in a little bit to my drafting and my draft strategy stuff. So you'll see some kind of intermingling of those types of conversations. But it all revolves around drafting because that's always my favorite thing to do. My favorite time in the NFL is essentially right now at the off season, from the end of the Super Bowl until the start of the season is my favorite time in the NFL. Like, the season's great. I like watching games. I don't make content during the NFL season because I'm too busy with my personal, professional life. And I don't see the need realistically. It's not my kind of thing. My thing is doing drafts, talking about draft strategies, the draft, the actual NFL draft, what I think teams will do as far as cutting, re-signing, all the stuff that we talked about, George Pickens wise, that kind of conversation. That's all the stuff that I love and I love to talk about. So yeah, there you go. But you can go back and look through all my content. I just had my 300th video, the one with PPR Tyler, when we're talking about prospects. That was my 300th video on my channel. So lots of content, but let's rip through this and then we'll get out of here for the night. So 2693 for my squad: Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. I like that a lot. I'm not drafting 3 in that situation. Jeremiah Love, Breece Hall, Trevion Henderson, Emmett Johnson, Braylon Allen, Dylan Sampson. I think that's a very good running back room. Very happy with that. Makes sense. Got some big play type of running backs, and then a goal line type of guy, passing down type of guy. Good texture. I like it. JSN, Worthy, Coker, Higgins, McMillan, DK, Cooper, Besh, Knoll. I didn't necessarily want to go with 2 Texans wide receivers, but I got 14 picks of value on Higgins, 10 picks of value on Knoll. What do you want from me? I like this room though. This is a fun wide receiver room. I think it can work. You know, again, like I always say, my flex is probably taken up by my running back, and then I need 3 guys to step up in my wide receiver room. Colson Loveland, Aronde Gadsden, and Terrence Ferguson. I think that's a very good tight end room. So I like this team. It's fun. I like it. It's a good one. I'm happy with it. Let's go Young Moolah at the 2 spot. Appreciate you, Steven Hines. Take care, man. We'll see you next time. Appreciate that. 2693 as well. We got Lamar Jackson, Caleb Williams. I'm happy with that. I like that. I'm happy to stop at 2. I dig it. We got Gibbs, Irving, Price, Dobbins, Mason, Brooks. I like this a lot. Again, I'm not drafting Dobbins, but that doesn't mean I'm right. But the rest of the guys, I like all of them. So that works for me. I like the room. 6 is good. Collins, Burden, Pearsall, Golden, Shaheed, Flournoy, Kyle Williams, Jeremy Bernard, and Devontae Walker. I like the late round picks for sure. Kyle Williams is my guy. Everybody knows that. Jeremy Bernard is my guy. Everybody knows that. And I like the Devontae Walker click. I got a couple shares myself, and I think he's viable. I like that. Flournoy, I'm not sold on, but I get it, and I don't mind that. And the capital doesn't really matter. So he's perfectly fine. Shaheed's a free agent. I don't mind that click. Golden, I have a hard time with, to be honest, but again, doesn't mean I'm right. And I like these top 3. So Golden's the guy I have the toughest time with realistically in this room, but I understand the click. So I get it. Kyle Pitts, Likely, and Helm. I like that room. That works. It's a good team. Quality squad. Quality squad here. Walker, Stacks. I might have stolen DK off you. I don't know. Or never mind. You have, what I think, Ward for a second there. Caleb with Burden. There we go. That makes sense. Yeah. Couples light stacks. I like that. That's a nice team. Good team. Quality. Peanut Punch in the 7 spot. Jared Goff, Mendoza, and Willis. I think that's fine. I like that. I like that quite a bit. You got your floor guy and then a couple unknowns. High ceiling potentially with Malik, but Goff's going to be your guy most weeks. 3683. I like this room. Hampton, Walker, Judkins, Kamara, Tucker, and Brian Robinson. I'm not drafting Brian Robinson personally. I'm just not. I think I'd rather take a couple other guys than someone like Brian Robinson. But I like this. I like this room for the most part. I like this room. Top 4 for sure. Judkins price I don't love at all. I really don't like that price. I like Hampton Walker, though. I don't like Judkins price. I don't mind Kamara. It's an interesting room. It's definitely kind of an interesting, different room, but I don't hate it. Amon-Ra, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans, Michael Wilson, Quentin Johnston, Trey Tucker, Torrey Horton, and Jacoby Lane. Trey Tucker probably stacks with Mendoza. We're confident on that. Amon-Ra stacks. I'm not a big Wilson guy or Evans guy, sorry, and I'm not a big Wilson guy either. So those two I'm not so sure about. I don't know about, I mean, Jacoby Lane's just to go up and get it red zone touchdown guy, so that's fine in the 20th round. Torrey Horton, I don't mind. I don't hate it. It's not the direction I would go, for the most part, but I definitely don't hate it. I can't say you're wrong. Dalton Kincaid, Jake Tonges, and Pat Fryermuth. I'm not drafting much of Tongas either, but again, I think he had plantar fasciitis, I believe, right? Which is a pretty big concern for mobility and whatnot. So I don't know about Tonges, but people seem to like him. I like Fryermuth. Kincaid's still a bit of a wild card. Interesting build. It's an interesting team. I think you would say you don't build like this too often. It's definitely different than the team you drafted in the first draft. That's for sure. It's an odd one. It's an odd one. Doesn't make it bad. I'm not saying it's a bad team. Lolsimo in the 11 spot, 3692. We got Drake May, Bo Nix, and JJ McCarthy. Let's just wrap up the chat over here quick. Last year was my first year for fantasy. I've gambled since 2002. Finished second in the round before the last. Never experienced this type of early drafting. Only had 42 teams last year. Good show. Appreciate that. Yeah, my first year I was pretty light as well. So that's the way to do it. Get to know it, figure it out, find some strategy, take some losses. Like even high volume guys, I don't win. I've lost money. I broke even one year. The first year I broke even, but again, I didn't have very many teams, so that's fine. And I did a lot of cash games, like cash teams. So I broke even my first year. I lost money my second year. I broke even my third year, I think, or maybe I have that opposite. But 2 years I broke even. 2 years I lost money. The 2 years that I did my volume, a lot of volume, I lost money. Where most likely you're going to. So it's a learning experience. So yeah. It's a learning experience. That's best ball, baby. Any idea what the 2025 Big Board winning team looked like? Off the top of my head, I have no idea. Off the top of my head. Just an FYI, Ballsy trying to fill a bigger board at the moment. I'll pop over to their stream, see what's going on, and maybe see if it happens. Maybe they're in the one I was trying to fill, but Golden, one of my breakout candidates. That's fair. It's not for me, but that's totally fair if you like them. I get that. I'm plugged down here. Miami don't like to just give up important info, but maybe we can talk later. Word. What do you got? What do you got? Mixed in some guys I don't have much of. Appreciate the review. Yeah, I figured it was a little bit different for you. It kind of seemed a little oddball, if I'm being honest. But again, doesn't mean it can't work. Doesn't mean I don't like it. It's definitely not a bad team. I hope the channel hits the championship. Appreciate it, man. It's pretty rare that a stream team does exceptionally well. I think, I don't know. I know some people have won, a tournament on a stream draft, which is really fun because you can go back and watch it and strategy and all that kind of stuff. But let's take a look at Lolsimo's team here. We'll finish this up. 3692, May, Nix, McCarthy. I think that works. We'll see about McCarthy. I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith, but definitely 21 picks past ADP. That's fine. May and Nix are good, so I like that. Achan, Pollard, Coleman, Marks, Pacheco, and Neal. I think Pacheco's a tough click. I think Marks is a tough click. I don't mind getting a little bit of Neal. I like Joan Coleman. I like Pollard. I like Achan, so that's fine. And you got discount on Marks as well. I can understand that one. Pacheco's a tough click for me personally. Higgins, Adams, Tyson, Alec Pierce, Romeo Dobbs, Pat Bryant, Calvin Ridley, Tank Dell, and Zachariah Branch. I'm really not drafting pretty much any of these four. I don't like the price for Pat Bryant. He goes ahead of Troy Franklin, which I don't agree with. Ridley's probably not going to be on this team, and he's just getting older, soft tissue stuff. I'm worried about Calvin Ridley realistically. Tank Dell, I love me some Tank Dell. I was the biggest drafter of Tank Dell when he was a rookie, but I just can't get behind it with those injuries and being on Houston still with everything that they've added. I think that's a tough click. Don't really love Branch, but he's fine. He's fine. Out of these guys, Branch is the most fine, if I'm being honest. Dobbs, Pierce, free agents, rookie, don't know where he's going. Higgins and Adams are fine. I like this top kind of four. Dobbs is a wild card, which is fine. I don't like these three at their prices. I don't. I just think there's better options kind of everywhere. I'm going to be 0% on all three of these guys personally. Again, doesn't make me right. Trey McBride and Hunter Henry, that's fine. When you're drafting Trey McBride that high, you can stop it too. That's okay. I don't mind it. I think your wide receiver room's a little shaky on the back end, I feel like, but that's kind of what you get when you take a break from drafting wide receivers after Pierce here. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but yeah, there you go. That's the show. That's the show, guys. Appreciate you guys. If you're still here and you haven't done it yet for some reason, hit that like button if you don't mind. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you like the content. We will be back on Wednesday night, same channel, same time, probably competing against the Toxic Tower, which is fine. So watch whichever you prefer. We're going to get out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Like I said, back on Wednesday, like we always say on Off the Schneid, if you're afraid to be wrong, you'll never be right. Hopefully tonight we were right. We win the big board, and we'll go see the Ballsy boys and see if they are filling a bigger board. But have yourselves a great